2 more gliders have broken away from tow ropes. Makes 14 so far.
Anything from Broadway yet?
Nothing yet. Command to Broadway. Command to Broadway. We are receiving you. Over.
Commander, over.
It's a brigadier, sir, from Broadway. Stand by, Broadway. Commander's coming on now.
Commander speaking. Over.
We're down, sir. Lost a few gliders coming in atop each other, but we're down. Over.
They're down. They're down! Hey! Did you get the bulldozers and scraper down? Over.
Yes, we're starting on the landing strip down.
The artillery. Get the artillery down. Over.
The artillery is down. We're getting the control tower up after we've cut down a few trees. Over.
Marvellous news. Well done. Over. Say again. Over.
Give us till tonight and we'll take 100 Dakotas. Over.
Yes. You have lost some gliders in India. They couldn't get over the Naga Hills. We will send in the rest on a single tow. The ropes will not take 2 gliders. Over.
By tomorrow you should get the whole brigade down. Over.
Any sign of Japs yet? Over. It's marvellous, tremendous news. I'm coming in myself tonight. I'll see you then. Over and out. Hannibal eclipsed.
I think it's wise for you to go in so soon.
I've got to. I'll stay. I'll resign my commission.
No. No.
Go home. Go home, work for us where it is best.
My place is here with you.
No, Orde. Don't destroy yourself here.
I'm being sent away from you and the country I love. But I promise you I shall return. If not in the regular way, then I shall return as a refugee.
Chronicles, sir.
Signal in ahead.
A bit different from the first time you crossed the Chin Wind, sir.
Yes, I had to use this as a raft then.
Tell me, do we actually land in the stronghold?
No, we land on a strip. Then we go to the stronghold. They'll clear a landing ground later.
David calling Broadway control. Over.
Am I right, sir, that this has never been tried before, strongholds?
No, you're wrong. Precedent is in Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 12. God defending his church. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope.
Well, there's never been an army landing behind the enemy without lines of communication before.
We have communication. Ground-to-air wireless.
Well, that's original, surely, sir.
No, we used it in the first expedition, calling for airdrops.
What part of the Old Testament's that taken from, sir?
First book of Kings, chapter 17, verse 6. The ravens feeding Elijah. The whole concept of long-range penetration is based on complete independence, thanks to Air Force liaison.
How long do you think you can stay behind Jap lines, sir?
Not how long can we stay, but when we defeat the enemy.
Glider invasion. The Japs will never believe it.
That's what we're reckoning on.
Exacting punishment can be inflicted, by deciding on the zone within which enemy aircraft must fly when dropping bombs and immediately after, and then sighting guns to command this zone. Signed O.C. Wingate, Brigade Major, 56th Light Anti-Aircraft Brigade, 31st October 1939, Sidcup.
Sidcup.
Dr. Weissman telephoned. He says General Ironside supports the idea of a Jewish legion recruited in Palestine.
Oh, that's good. I must speak to Hein at once.
With Churchill in the cabinet now, it really looks like a possibility.
But yes, how can we possibly fight a war against Nazi Germany if we don't allow the Jews, of all people, to form their own fighting force?
Which you will lead.
Well, of course I'll lead it. Who else?
Do you really think they'll ever agree to that?
I'm forbidden to set foot in Palestine ever again, for any reason whatsoever, whether on duty or on leave.
But why?
The War Office, apparently, considers me too emotional. I trust my feelings rather than my judgment. Yeah, of course, it's because I see the Jews as more reliable allies in this war than the Arabs.
So, where are you posted?
Cairo. Evidently, I'm considered reliable enough to fight the Italians in North Africa.
You had a good journey?
It seemed to go on forever, sir.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Come in, let's have a chat. Well, now, let's see. Major Orde Charles Wingate, GSO2. Sit down, Charles.
Orde.
Well, what have you done up to now?
Most recently, I formed night squads in Palestine to combat terrorism and also to defend the oil pipeline.
Oh, so got a DSO for that?
Yes.
Full marks.
Prior to that, I commanded my own company in the Sudan, and I led an expedition marching only by day across the Libyan Sea of Sand.
By day?
Yes, my report was published in the Royal Geographical Society's journal.
Yes, yes. Well, we like to give GSO2s a chance for initiative. Have a drink, Orde. What's it to be?
Scotch, thank you.
Scotch. Good. Water?
Thank you.
Say when.
When?
How?
How?
Well, how would you lead this army into Libya?
Ah, yes. By establishing separate rating headquarters as near as possible to the enemy, completely self-contained with no lines of communication.
No lines of communication.
No, supplied by air.
Supplied by air. Supplied by air? The man's mad.
The conventional British staff officer has little imagination. I would put this down to staff college training.
I'll write a memorandum on it, sir.
Yes, yes, Wingate. That's the thing to do.
My experiences with the special night squads in Palestine have clearly established the value of raiding in small areas. But the same principles of mobility and self-sufficiency can equally be applied to large areas like the Libyan desert. Widespread use of motor transport is essential. My own experiences have convinced me that the desert must be thought of as being open to cars as the ocean is to ships.
Your memorandum on the invasion of Libya from the south, using a self-contained force with no lines of communication, has been given close scrutiny. But with the war at its present stage, it's thought neither feasible nor appropriate for the near future. However, your experience should be of great service to us in the forthcoming invasion of Ethiopia.
Ethiopia?
Yes, yes. Yes, the Italians have strengthened their occupation there recently. We're going to liberate it. Are you interested?
I'll lead the invasion.
No. Generals Platt and Cunningham are to lead the invasion from the north and from the south. We thought you would like to go in from the west. Some rebels still loyal to the Emperor gathered here, at Khartoum.
Ah.
Perhaps you would like to lead them back into their own country.
Khartoum.
Yes, exactly, Khartoum. Actually, Orde, an extra useful job you could do would be to liaise with the exiled Emperor, Haile Selassie. He is being highly awkward.
It is not just the numbers of the rifles, but I have no say in how or to whom they will be given. There is also an armed band of Eritreans loyal to me, who are imprisoned by your army in Kenya.
I shall do everything in my power, Your Majesty, to see that your patriots are released.
My bodyguard is inadequate, not trained and badly equipped.
I shall see they're well trained, sir.
Major Wingate, are you a man of honor? Can I trust you?
Sir.
I fear I'm being used as a pawn by the British. Tomorrow, Anthony Eden, Smuts, and Wavell are meeting to discuss the future of my empire. Have you heard of the OETA?
No, sir.
It means Occupied Enemy Territory Administration. It is a plan made in Cairo by your government for my empire. A plan to administer my empire after you have defeated the Italians. The whole history of your country is to occupy and rule other countries.
Your Majesty.
I would hesitate to go back to my people if I think you will take over from Mussolini.
Your Majesty, are you sure this is official? Is it not just a rumor?
This plan exists. I can trust no one.
You can trust me, Your Majesty, and you can trust in the justice of your cause.
Ah, I'm glad you didn't ambush my car again. So much more tricky stopping cars in Cairo. Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Now, General Platt has informed me that you wish to lead the rebels.
Yes, sir.
Brigadier Sanford is already leading Ethiopian rebels, so why should you want to take over?
Because I believe in their cause. I want to believe in their cause. I think we can beat the Italians, sir, but only if we have a high moral purpose.
Defeating the enemy isn't a high moral purpose?
At the moment, sir, we're behaving as Lawrence did, offering the patriots money, appealing to their greed instead of their patriotism.
What do you mean, you want to believe in their cause?
I can't lead Ethiopian patriots against the Italians, sir, unless I am certain it is in order to liberate their country.
What else would it be?
The Emperor tells me that there is a plan for us to occupy his country after we've beaten the Italians. He says further that yesterday you met with General Smuts and Anthony Eden in Khartoum.
Yes.
Then why wasn't the Emperor invited?
The Emperor was invited. Perhaps he omitted to tell you.
Yes.
The Emperor was there.
Well, then what was decided, sir?
Well, it's none of your business, but I'll tell you. Anthony Eden has asserted Haile Selassie's right to look on the rebellion as a war of liberation.
Eden gave him that right.
Yes. And at the Emperor's request, the rebels are to be known as patriots. The change in terminology, no doubt, attributable elsewhere. Now, look, you know I can't discuss policy with you. You are a liaison officer, Wingate, not a political aide. But I have already decided that you will lead these patriots, and orders to this effect are already on their way to General Platt. I am promoting you to acting colonel. I'm going to let you have £1 million credit. Buy what you need, take the Emperor, rouse his patriots, but obey orders. All right.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like this to be a chance for you. Don't spoil it.
Naval Baker David to Broadway Control. Are you receiving me? Over.
Broadway Control, we are receiving you, over.
This is Naval Baker David to Broadway Control.
Strong hold, exactly, sir.
Broadway Control, Naval Baker David.
Look! It's a fortress established inside enemy lines, supplied by air. Now, we go out in columns to attack the enemy. At the same time, we put a floating company round the fortress so that when the enemy attacks us, the floater comes in behind and traps them against the stronghold, like a nutcracker. Well, that's roughly the theory. Have to see how it goes in practice.
6 brigades behind enemy lines by Dakota. Well, that's 2 divisions.
2 brigades go in by air, 1 on the ground, 2 held in reserve.
That's what, 6,000 men landed by air?
Plus 3,000 mules.
Sorry?
Plus 3,000 mules, artillery, bulldozers, barbed wire, mortars, machine guns.
Sorry, sir, that quotation again. Turn you to the stronghold. What was the rest, sir?
Ye prisoners of hope.
There are thousands of your patriots ready to march, Your Majesty. I shall lead them to victory. I have a cause.
To all men in Ethiopia who consider themselves patriots, the friends of humanity now fighting the totalitarian powers by land, sea, and air have promised you liberty. Do you want to owe that liberty to their helping hands alone? No. Bring your mules, your food, your armed men, and I will direct you against the enemy. The short-term objective will be to return your emperor to his palace in Addis Ababa. But let no man be mistaken about our main task. That is to liberate and ensure the freedom of your country for all time. You are patriots, not rebels. We are fighting also in the cause of freedom. What happens here in Ethiopia will affect the cause of freedom and justice everywhere.
May God bless you all, whatever your religion. And in memory of that great Jewish fighter for freedom, this band of warriors shall henceforth be known as Gideon Force. Gideon Force. General salute. Present arms! How was that?
Huh?
How was that?
The only thing is, oh boy, all proclamations go on the portable printing press.
Get it printed, then. But let it come from the heart. We have just crossed the border, Your Majesty. It is my great honor to inform Your Majesty that you are once again standing on Ethiopian soil. Gideon Force, General salute. Present. Halt!
You are responsible.
I am not responsible.
You are responsible for supplies.
I am not responsible for supplies.
The batteries are your responsibility.
The batteries are not my responsibility.
We shall lose this war because of idiots.
You were responsible for supplies, especially batteries.
Not only are you non-competent, you are also incompetent.
If you weren't so bloody involved with those rebels...
Patriots.
Who's a non-combatant?
You are. At least you behave like one. What did you bring with you? A dining table and napkins. Who do you think you are, Lord Cardigan?
I don't have to be a Puritan and a lunatic to be a soldier.
What a pity it is that we're the same rank.
Yes, if we weren't, I could have court-martialed you.
You know what this reminds me of? Once the cabinet asked the Duke of Wellington about the taking of Rangoon. Let Lord Combermere do it, he said. But he's a fool, said the cabinet. So he is, said the Duke. A fool and a damn fool, but he can take Rangoon.
Who's a fool?
You are, of course. How do you suppose we transmit messages without batteries?
I am not responsible for batteries.
Foot inspection.
Keep out of my way, Wingate. Keep out of my way.
Orde! What? Shalom! David! Shalom! Did you bring the batteries?
Only some whiskey. Here.
Good. Sit down.
Thank you.
How long did it take you to get here?
Oh, 3 days.
Good. Well, they're called Gideon Force, so we have to have a Gideon.
Well, who else?
Anyway, you Jewish doctors are going to keep us healthy. This is a great cause, David. A great cause. It's like Zion.
Orde, they've arrested some of our people for carrying arms. Brenner, Dayan, Elliot, Daniel.
Bloody force. Oh, the British Empire is finer than that, David. Oh, I'll write to Churchill.
Orde, Haim wrote to me. He has been told by the highest authority that you will never be allowed to return to Palestine, either on leave or on duty.
Yes, I know. And so the only way I can get back to Palestine is from here. I need a victory, a great victory here. Then they'll have to give me what I want. 2 Jewish divisions, and then we'll meet the enemy on the field of Armageddon.
Have you heard of Brocklehurst? Courtney Brocklehurst.
No, sir.
He saw General Wavell in Cairo. He was sent by your government to conspire with the Gullah tribes in my country. If they rise in revolt against the Italians in that area, Brocklehurst has the authority to guarantee them independence from my empire after the liberation.
We must send a telegram at once to Churchill. Ask for this Courtney Brocklehurst to be recalled.
What if Churchill is part of this conspiracy?
Churchill? Never. If he is, we'll send a telegram to Roosevelt. Order of the day to all men of Gideon Force, 17th of February, 1941. The comforts which we now lack and the supplies that we need are in the possession of our enemy. It is my intention to wrest them from him by a bold stroke, which will demand all your energies and all your devotion. I expect that every officer and man will put his courage and endurance to the severest test during the coming decisive weeks.
We are at the beginning of a long journey. To what?
To Beliar, Your Majesty. We've got a 3,000-foot climb to get there. For some time, I'm afraid you won't be traveling like an emperor. The folly of the Italians is past belief. They allowed us to reach the plateau without opposition. But now, Gideon will be tested. I have 200 men, the enemy 7,000. My small force must deceive the enemy.
Excellency, Excellency, all the camels are dead.
What, all 18,000?
Grass down in plain, good for camel. Up here, kill camel.
My small force must deceive the enemy.
Gideon Force to HQ. Request air cover immediately. Over.
HQ to Gideon Force. No aircraft available. Over and out. Why didn't I get my reinforcements?
Your orders, if you remember, were for me to meet you north of the road. And if you change your plans without telling me, how could I possibly know?
Because I didn't get my reinforcements, that Italian column got through unscathed.
This is my first professional battle. My genius was not evident.
Well, what did I do wrong?
Not for me to tell you, old boy. However, you made 4 basic errors. You carried out too much movement by daylight. You kept your baggage train in a single body. Could have been wiped out in one fell swoop. Your worst mistake was to charge the fort with your entire force.
No! I wanted the Italians to assume that I was a large army. They were convinced that my whole force was only a part of one.
Why?
Because only a madman would commit his whole force.
Exactly.
If I am for greatness, I mustn't make these mistakes again.
Your fourth mistake, Wingate, was that the Italians have large reinforcements at their disposal and good lines of communication. Your lines of communication have broken down.
Lines of communication. The only communication we need is with God.
Oh, here's a message. The Italians are retreating. Your plan worked.
Hey, you see?
The Italians may be in retreat, but General Cunningham has just reminded us that we are ordered to hold the Italians here, not to keep driving them eastwards. All that will do is reinforce their main army against Platt and Cunningham.
Well. Your Majesty, I've just learnt that British GHQ wish us to remain here.
Of course. That's part of the conspiracy, Colonel. They will keep me here while I take my country.
Your Majesty, I gave my pledge to return you to your capital. Is it your wish that we move on?
Yes.
I'm now faced by the massive fort of WW2. Intention, to take the fort. Method, small raiding parties of 40 men each to attack the fort at different points throughout the night. Grenade and bayonet, retreat to another point, throw and charge again. The pattern to be continually repeated.
Except, old boy, this time the Italians have got 12,000 men.
So Gideon and the 300 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp.
Get out! Get back! Go on, Ethiopia needs you! There are plenty of men in England to replace me. Go on!
He only risks his life to get credit for himself. The man's a terrible actor.
They've gone. They've pulled up.
Do you speak Italian? Italian? Huh?
Oh. Italian. Anyone speak Italian?
I do. A little.
Who are you?
Stevens. I'm the war correspondent of the Christian Science Monitor.
Well, answer it then.
Yeah, well, what do I say?
Say anything, you fool.
Momenti.
Say you're the doctor.
Sono il dottore.
The British have taken WW2.
I britannici hanno preso WW2.
With 10,000 men.
Con 10.000 uomini.
And now they're heading for the Blue Nile crossing.
E si stanno accingendo a attraversare il Nilo Azzurro.
The ruse was entirely successful. The Italians abandoned their defensive positions on the Blue Nile. I'll give the man something. He never loses an opportunity.
So you see this as a David and Goliath confrontation?
Well, exactly. With the Emperor as David, of course. The Italians, with their overwhelming numbers, as Goliath. But now it's very important that you make the Emperor appear as small and as weak as possible. That will make the best effect with our propaganda.
I'm all for human courage and David versus Goliath. But I wish, Wingate, we could just get enough elastic to provide David with a sling.
On. General Cunningham has taken Addis Ababa. But, the message goes on, he does not wish the Emperor to return yet.
Your Majesty.
Don't tell me. The British have refused to let me enter my capital. The British are treating me exactly as I thought they would do.
Send a message to General Cunningham. Request permission to take the Emperor to his capital. Your Majesty, I believe in the British Empire as a force for world peace, but when it is associated with oppression, I shall fight it.
Don't hurt yourself, Colonel, for my sake.
No man can hurt himself fighting injustice, sir.
I didn't ask for your trust for you in order to endanger yourself.
It is I that asked for your trust, sir, and I gave you my word.
Here it is. British forces not yet ready to receive His Excellency the Emperor in Addis Ababa. The Emperor must be delayed from starting by persuasion and every means short of force until 2nd Division confirms that the road is safe. Now what do I say?
Short of force. Come on. Is it your wish, Your Majesty, that we go to meet your people?
Yes! I proclaim state entry on the 5th of May, the anniversary of the conquest of my empire by the accursed Italians.
Very good, Your Majesty. It will befit Your Majesty to ride through the streets of your capital on horseback to show that you fought with your patriots.
No. I want a large, open car, like Mussolini. Colonel Wingate, what you have done for my poor country I can never repay. I want you to accept these small gifts. I will send you a crate of champagne. That is all we can afford.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
I would also like to name a town or a place after you. What place do you prefer?
I would prefer nothing which is associated with cruelty.
Colonel Wingate, what cruelty?
Your Majesty, we fought against a common enemy for peace and justice. Throughout the campaign, your patriot soldiers showed the utmost in honor and dignity. Even in the treatment of Italian prisoners of war, they had the highest regard for human decency. No reprisals were taken. And now I learn that you have been executing many of your own people.
How did you hear this?
Is it true, Your Majesty?
But they were traitors. They worked with the Italians.
Perhaps they were afraid of the Italians. Were they given a fair trial?
Colonel Wingate, you are a good soldier, and I owe a lot to you. But you do not understand my country.
I understand justice.
I'm afraid General Cunningham has disbanded Gideon Force, Wingate. You ought to revert to the rank of Major. You were a sideshow, Wingate, a sideshow. Now, if you'll excuse me, we have got some other problems. Germany's just invaded Greece.
The breakup of Gideon Force, while the need for it still exists, is the mark of a military ape. The reversal of my rank from Lieutenant Colonel to Major is an example of the ingratitude we show our dedicated soldiers. Only righteousness exalteth a nation. Cynicism in this war will defeat us.
How's it going, John?
I think it's a wrecking patrol that found us.
What's their strength?
Well, we don't know yet.
Has the floating company gone out yet?
Yeah, C Company's out. Oh, jeez.
How deep is this wire?
About 6 to 8 feet.
Where's Mike? Where's Mike now?
Over on the southeast perimeter.
Well, take me to him. Come on.
Yes, Wingate, what can I do for you?
I put in a request for hard-lying alliances for my men in Ethiopia, sir.
Oh, yes, I remember. I have them here somewhere.
Yes, my men fought a long and hard campaign. They are entitled to those alliances.
You're sweating. You all right?
What? Oh, yes, yes, sir.
It's not their entitlement.
We marched for nearly 4 months over some of the hardest country in Africa, often without food.
It's your own fault. You should have established proper lines of communication.
Communication with no batteries, no distilled water?
Here, drink that. Huh? Firstly, it's not considered that the hardships that your men underwent are any more severe than those endured by other troops in this theatre. Secondly, Gideon Force was not a proper unit in the field.
They fought for the Allies.
It's not classified as a unit, not in the book.
What do you mean? There was part of the Sudan Defense Force. There was the whole of the 2nd Ethiopian Battalion.
And tribesmen.
Yes, sir. Patriots, to whom I pledge the honor of the British Empire.
Irregular troops acting in irregular fashion do not qualify.
Oh, they should have been up with the sun, should they, with their tents folded, ready to meet the enemy on the field of tournay.
Lastly, your request was not put in at the right time. You all know that after your Palestinian escapade, you wrote a letter of complaint to the king. If you're not satisfied with the decisions taken here, Major Wingate, I suggest you drop His Majesty another line.
We shall lose this war. We shall lose this war. Through stupidity, deceit, and dishonor. Sir.
We owed our success in Ethiopia to Patriot forces. To Patriot forces. They were enlisted because we promised them the liberation of their country. We cannot betray that promise if Ethiopia
always suspicious of white imperialism, thinks we are hypocrites. Thinks we are hypocrites. If they think we are hypocrites, the world will have cause to think it tomorrow. The enemy warned them we might occupy their country. Occupy their country. They were not believed. The patriots believed the British instead. If the enemy is proved right, and the intentions of the British are the same as his, imperialism, enormous damage will be done. Righteousness exalteth a nation. No, I've said that, I've said that. I've said that before.
So what are you taking?
Atabrine.
You should be in hospital.
Oh, no, I've seen a local doctor. It's not serious. I can look after myself.
I still think that one of our fellows should take a look at you.
Not until I have the hard lying allowances for my men.
I'll do all I can to see the money's paid.
And I want a guarantee of Ethiopian independence.
I've started an inquiry into your report. You imply that General Cunningham is a military ape. You say that we're no better than the Nazis. You present our ambition in Ethiopia as an enemy allegation, but you believe it to be true. I think you were right to complain about your signals equipment. You fight brilliantly in Agibar, far greater victory than anything Lawrence ever achieved. And in here, you say nothing about it. Your greatest triumph as a soldier lost in a rambling... The first victory of the war, sunk in a self-destructive piece of cant. Instead of sending a personal report to me, you run off copies and hand them your enemies. Word has got through to London that we're in disorder. My staff is after your blood. They want me to court-martial you. I need your genius, but nobody here will work with you. Now, for God's sake, get to hospital. Wingate, I'll remember you if my next posting is far enough away from here.
About 120 miles northeast of Damascus. It's Palmyra. It's ancient ruins, population about 10,000. Yes, Wingate?
My report.
Your report? Oh, do you know each other? Dum-Dum Dawkins, 7th Hussars, Orde Wingate, gunners.
General Wavell promised me an inquiry.
Oh, yes, your report. They've been burned. In your own interests as well as ours. Come on, let's see.
Does General Wavell know about this?
Wavell's gone, Wingate. He's gone. Auchinleck's taken over.
God! Thou hast deserted me. Adonai. Anochi Adonai. For righteousness. For righteousness. For justice. For justice. I commit myself.
They're through on this perimeter in about 3 places.
What are you doing about it?
Floating company's got the position, should engage any time.
How many men have you lost?
John! About 20 wounded. Double that for the Japs. We've got the south straps, the north and eastern perimeter, the third and sixth stack of south and west. C company floating. Brigade HQ middle of the block.
This Vickers back here. Bring it 20 yards nearer, you'll get 10 more degrees arc of fire.
See you, John.
How many Vickers?
11 along the wire, 8 mortars.
You need more wire.
He took too many Atterbreen tablets. Poor devil didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was doing anyway. He's mad. Either way, it's a court-martial or a loony bin. He's finished. Thank God.
My son, have you anything to say to me?
Yes.
Go on.
I've proved you can't commit suicide without taking a hot bath.
I don't understand you.
You have to relax the neck muscles first before you stick the knife in. How could I lead a Jewish army? I can't even kill myself.
You were ill. You're not to blame.
I did it for Ethiopia, not for Zion.
For justice, Orde, for justice.
I'll be kicked out of the army, of course. I've set your cause back 10 years.
Don't talk like that. We have powerful friends.
I'm afraid we cannot justify the paying of hard-lying allowances to your men. I mean, if they'd taken part in the real war in Ethiopia, it wouldn't be so bad. But irregular as a ragtag bobtail outfit doesn't count.
Gideon force must have those allowances.
It can't be done. But in view of your... to prove that the army isn't as heartless as you seem to think, we're making you a personal present. Your own hard-lying allowances for what you've been through.
Until the whole of Gideon force is paid, or until the army rots, I shall fight for every penny of that money.
Well, I don't give you much chance. The procedure's this. You're going back to London, where you're to face a medical board who will find you as mad as a hatter.
Right. I'll get that wire and the tools and the ammunitions for you. I'm going up to see Ferguson now, see how 16 Brigade's getting on. Apparently they're having difficulty finding a decent landing site, so I'll do a recce for them. Keep up the good work.
Oh, we've got some chickens. Suppose we start a chicken farm, eh? Well, see you after the war.
Now, it's essential that you keep a constant radio link with that floater company.
Understood.
This is just the start, you know. I telegrammed to Churchill. With 3 more Dakota squadrons, we can take the whole of northern Burma in a few months.